Welcome back to Visionary Ventures, the Carbostani podcast. Today, we are privileged to have Ronald Hajjar, an electronic music artist and a savvy entrepreneur whose career spans across several dynamic industries. From his early days as a DJ to launching groundbreaking ventures like & Co and Boomerang, Ronald embodies a unique blend of artistic talent and business acumen. He also co-founded Somewhere, an international music events label, further showcasing his influence in the global music scene. Join us as we explore Ronald's journey from the DJ booth to the boardroom and uncover the passion and strategy behind his diverse successes. First of all, thank you so much, Ronald, for being here. And I really appreciate you taking the time and being on my podcast.
Thank you so much. Thanks for this nice intro. Thank you so much for having me. I remember a lot of discussion that we had in the past. It's been maybe 1, 2, 3, 4 years, even more. And I'm glad we're doing this officially today.
We are. Actually, we should have recorded all our past convos.
Yeah, that would have been nice.
Yeah, exactly. So, Ronald, let's kickstart the journey and tell me a bit about the past, the start of your journey, moving from a secure employment to establishing your own ventures must have required significant mental shifts. Could
Yes.
you discuss the mindset changes that were necessary during these transitions from being employed to becoming an entrepreneur? I know I'm taking you back, but I'm really interested in that shift.
Yeah, I'm going to scratch my head a little bit. Going back to 2009 when I was done with uni, actually, the funny story is 2 days after I was graduated, I started my first job at Saatchi & Saatchi. And it was a really great match because back then I had already started DJing since 2005 and throwing parties and being involved in the music industry and the events and DJing. And they needed someone that had knowledge in nightlife and entertainment and events to handle a spirits portfolio. So that was a great match. It took only 2 interviews, and that was the only 2 interviews I did after uni. So I started there. I learned a lot. It was very interesting. My boss and my mentors were really very special people. So after a couple of months in, I stayed there for like a year or 2. I started realizing quite fast that going up the corporate ladder in a traditional way was a bit of something that you have to push for, to put a lot of yourself in, even though I was still young at that time. So I quickly realized that the job was really nice. It required a lot of creativity, a lot of social skills as well, being present at the office and on ground and events. I learned those skills very fast, thankfully, and then realized that maybe I needed to shift to something different. This is where the Jouet Club toy store chain reached out to me. They were getting implemented in Lebanon. And then I quickly made the shift to handling the marketing part of that company and implemented around 5 or 6 stores across Lebanon.
Nice.
Back then. For those who don't know, Jouet Club is one of the biggest toy store chain with around 350 stores worldwide. It's a French brand. They wanted to come into Lebanon. So I'm French speaking, so it was very interesting and very easy to communicate with the French group and all of that. Fast forward to my 3rd year at Jouet Club, I felt also a little bit of redundancy in what I was doing. I decided to take on a specialized master at ESA Business School. It was a joint diploma with the EP006. And then from there, social media was starting to become a thing, like content, social media.
The early days of
Exactly. So content, social media management, ads, and all of that. And then DJing was becoming more and more active for me. So it was at that point where I said, okay, I did the masters, fine, maybe maybe for nothing, but at least I learned a lot. And then maybe it's time for me to take the leap. So I took like 3 or 4 months sabbatical, playing
Okay.
PlayStation until 6 a.m. every morning,
Okay.
every night and every morning, and decided to start something on my own. When this happened, my first client was actually Jouet Club. My
Okay.
second client was actually Lego, who I was very closely working with
Nice.
at Jouet Club. And I started branching out slowly and surely into my personal network and friends of friends of people who actually run businesses or have key positions in different companies or brands. And this is how it actually started and organically grew. The leap was definitely not easy. Uh, Back then, I was very risk averse. So stopping a job, having DJing as a backup and events as a backup allowed me to actually take more risks.
Okay.
So that was the interesting shift, if you want, that actually pushed me to start and co.
Okay. So the backup made you do the leap, take the leap, and just leave the employment, the corporate world, and start. This is how you started Antco, which is still up and running, and we're gonna get into that in a few. Interesting story and lovely start of your entrepreneurship career, and those clients are amazing for a kickstart, by the way. That's really nice. So facing the uncertainties of entrepreneurship, especially in creative fields like music and events, can be a bit daunting. Can you share how you handle the pressures and the stress that come with managing multiple ventures?
True. So basically, when I started, I was on my own. So I was the one doing everything from A to Z. So from talking to the client to coordinating with designers to writing captions, posting, coming up with ideas, briefing creatives, and all of that.
One man show.
It was a one-man show. Yeah, it was really tough at that time, but I was really determined. After that, organically, I started recruiting our first team member, then the second and the third, and then we grew at that time to around 6, 7, 8 people. And things had become a little bit more pressing when it comes to dealing with client and all of that. So the pressure and dealing with that pressure was all by myself at the beginning, but then it got spread out as the business grew into more trustworthy partners slash key employees. So those were really important for the growth of Antco because they really set the base and the foundation of where we are today.
Yeah. And whenever you have these moments of doubts and I don't know, you're having like a huge decision making moment, what do you have any like strategies, mental strategies or philosophies, if we can call them, that you rely on to guide you in your choices and maintain focus?
I mean, I really believe that one should look inwards first to actually feel good, feel better, feel encouraged, and feel motivated. Because this is, I mean, the core and the source of taking the right decision and of leading a team. So I always try to look inwards, what I'm doing right, what I'm doing wrong, how can I fix things, how can I better processes, how can I better maybe the way we communicate with our clients, how we communicate with employees. So I'm very self critical in those things. I try to put ego aside and try to always bring the problem to me and then see how I would eventually solve it and make things better. This is basically one of the techniques that I use to navigate maybe the tough times around running a first business as Antco, and then obviously fast forward to today having to do this with Boomerang and with Somewhere.
Yeah, exactly. We're gonna also be tackling how you are juggling in between ventures and companies, and so yeah. But I wanna go somewhere else first. Given the demanding nature of your career, spanning like late night events, extensive travel, going around, DJing, mixing. How do you prioritize and maintain your physical health?
I'm very, very, very religious about this. So as I told you, I think the key to being able to do all of those things is to feel good and feel motivated and be in tune with yourself. So going to the gym almost daily, meditating almost every day.
Even if you're on the go?
On the go, if I'm on the go, it's not more than 2, 3, 4 days, and I try to squeeze in maybe 1 or 2 sessions as I'm on the go, but it's never for a really long period of time. I've done that as well. Actually, I've done that for like 2 or 3 weeks sometimes of touring, being in different cities, then coming back home after 2, 3 weeks. And I realized that maybe this is not what I wanted as an artist,
Okay.
because this was putting me out of tune
Mm-hmm.
with me coming back on Monday for a call or an important meeting or a brainstorming session with the team. So I try to actually balance things out. That might sound very typical as an answer, but that's really the key of actually being able to juggle all of that. So balancing out DJing and events and the energy that you put in there, balancing out your time with the team, your time with clients, your time doing business development, and the time for yourself. And obviously, at some point or at some times during that journey, um, it's not a constant. So if you like put like 4 hours of gym every week and like 6 hours of work every week, sometimes you have to put more. So you have to drop a little bit your personal space and then increase a little bit the time that you spend on your business. So it's really a balance that's not constant, that you're weekly or monthly or quarterly shifting.
Exactly. So some weeks, I personally can tell you that some weeks passes and I'm not really having the time to exercise or I don't know, do any activities or sports. But some other weeks, like I'm doing it daily, 7 days straight.
Absolutely.
So yeah, it's about making it up for yourself, if you want to say, and
It's about,
finding
yeah,
the balance along the way.
exactly. Finding your groove, about showing up, even if you don't feel like it, but you know that you're going to spend a week abroad and not going to be able to work out. Make sure you give your best during those 7 days before your trip, etc.,
Mm.
etc. So it's really mind-boggling, if you want to say that.
Yeah. I can relate to that. Could you share any specific health routines or practices that you have been particularly that it was effective in supporting your energy and stamina through your double life?
Yeah, definitely, definitely. I have a very interesting routine, if I may say. So I wake up every morning, I go to the gym. I might skip a day or two, maybe during the week. Um, Going to the gym, eating super healthy. I'm on a meal plan now, and I'm on a diet. It's been
Oh,
around a
okay.
year now.
Any
Really,
specific type of diet?
I'm actually counting my macros and counting my calories, but it's a
Okay.
very well balanced diet. I've tried many different diets in the past, but I think this one was actually the best. Like counting my macros and pairing that with my workouts at the gym
Okay.
have really shown great results. Meditation right after the gym, then
I'm
starting with like
I'm going there
yeah,
next.
yeah, you should. Then the most important tasks in the morning, because that's where you have the boost, the energy.
Okay.
um Lunching, then having easy like 4 or 5 calls up until 6, 7, and this is the time where I actually spend time with the family. So healthy eating, very strict routine, meditation, and working out. So those are like my top 4 or 5. And
Any
sometimes
specific workouts and
uh,
activities?
I used to do a lot of yoga and a lot of calisthenics, but now I shifted to doing boxing and regular workouts at the gym. So
Okay.
also this was also like a learning phase to really understand what workout brings the best out of you and not actually drains you. Because like if you work out every day, you need to sleep at least 8 hours to really recover, because that's how you actually build
Ex-
build muscle and actually get results. So also that was also a very
and rest
interesting.
the mind.
Exactly, and rest the mind. That's most important.
Yeah.
Thankfully, I'm very thankful to meditation. Actually, that was That was a habit that I acquired during COVID, by the way. So yoga and meditation were two of the things that COVID taught me, if you want to say it this way, and I'm thankful. I'm thankful for that.
You practice, you meditate on a daily basis?
Almost, yeah. Like let's say 5 to 6 days a week. Yeah, sometimes twice a day. Sometimes.
Guided meditations or on your own?
I'm on the pro level now on the app, so it's like a quiet
Okay.
20 to 30 minutes meditation
Wow.
with maybe some cues, some from time to time to
Nice.
actually keep on going. Yeah.
I love it. So mindfulness, healthy routines, working out, balancing your meals, being active,
And heavy partying in the weekend
heavy
to
partying in the weekend.
counterbalance that.
Exactly. But it's all about balance at the end of the day,
Exactly.
like we said.
Too much of anything would not actually work.
So everything we talked about till now, we will top it up with one new
Layer.
addition, which is a new layer in your life. So you're a new dad, and Jude is an amazing kid, by the way.
Thank you.
How are you finding the time to really be present, be effective and efficient between all of these things? You have 3 ventures, your life, your family.
Yes. Actually, the week where Jude was born, where I actually disconnected totally from everything, was maybe the best week of my life. So being really present, being attentive to whatever was happening during that small week. And this made me realize that I really should reprioritize things to leave time for this life-changing event. So I built my calendar in blocks, okay? And before,
I've seen that calendar.
yeah, like color coded and all of that. So
Massive thing.
yeah. This really helped me organize my life in the best way possible, honestly, because I really go on with my day as per my calendar. There's no compromise. Obviously, there are some changes from time to time, but this is the base of how I do things. So it's actually as easy, if you want to simplify it, removing some personal blocks from there, removing some work blocks from there, and leaving space to Jude's blocks. You know what I mean? Or family blocks or wife blocks, you know? So at first it was really tough because you need to also put your team in tune, your partner in tune, your friends in tune. So that makes it a bit hard to transition from this to there.
Yeah.
But once you get there, it's really a relief because you know that you need to stop. You have a hard stop of work at 7 p.m. After 7 p.m., you're
offline.
Exactly. You're offline. Your time is there. You're present. Because I was sensing a lot of bad habits that I was having. So I was there, but I was not present sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
So this also helped me to actually put a hard stop and not actually check my phone every now and then or go on my laptop and send one last email, you know? So that was the technique that I used, and it's almost working perfectly. Almost.
That's amazing. I'm personally not there yet, so hopefully I'll be able to really shut off the exterior world and like log off on all the accounts and stuff 7 p.m. onwards, because we sometimes really need it. And it's
Look,
good that you found the balance, and I know that you're pushing yourself to do it because you have to.
Exactly. I mean, it wasn't like that from 2013 to 2018 maybe, or 2017. It was definitely not like that. My calendar was going, actually a very funny story, like how I realized how our way of working changed from COVID, after COVID to before COVID. Like I used to wake up every day, go to minimum 4 to 5 physical meetings in the morning, driving, parking, going up, small talks, business talks, closing deals, coming down. up to my next meeting. That was like 3-4 times a day with my partner Hadi. And then going to the office at 4, starting my day around 3-4 p.m., answering emails, doing like quick meetings and all of that, going to the gym at 7. It was really close to the office. And then coming back to the office and working for an extra 4 or 5 hours. That was really my routine for a good solid 5 years maybe. So you can see and feel the shift from here to there, you know. So, and obviously with DJing on top and music on top, but that was like really too much to handle at that time. But I think the efforts that one should put at the beginning is really crucial. Like, you know, there was a nice saying, like the decisions you take in your 20s will impact your 30s. I think that's very valid also for a startup or any company. Like the decisions you take in the first 2-3 years are the ones that are going to make you or break you at the end.
100%.
Yeah.
I agree with that. Talking about your calendar for everyone who's watching or listening us, this podcast was pre-scheduled in Ronald's busy calendar like a month and a half ago. So
Thank you.
yeah, that was something. But yeah, we have to be organized, we have to be efficient, we have to manage our time perfectly. And I believe that you do that in an amazing way. And you really inspire me in everything that you're doing and achieving. Thank you for that. Now, we spoke about mental work, physical work, a bit of spirituality. Let's go in that more. Are there ways in which your artistic and spiritual paths intersect and enhance each other in a way?
Very, very interesting question. When I'm DJing and when I'm at events and all of that, it's really about the people and the connection, you know, and being
Exactly.
around people. Like I play small underground parties of 200-300 people, but I also used to play very big shows in big concert halls of like 3, 4, 5,000 people back then, you know. So both have a very different dynamic. People's styles are different, people approaches are different. Mostly the music that I play gathers a certain community around that music, which I really identify to. I'm a very extroverted person. I love to connect, I love to talk to people, but at the same time I love to stay home and recharge my batteries whenever the time is right. So I'm an extroverted introvert or an introverted extrovert. I don't know
I love that.
if that's relevant, but meditation and yoga and working out really can boost your mental health in a way where you can actually cope maybe better with those kind of situations. You know, it's really amazing how my energy went up from the moment I started working out more hard and doing the meditation. Like it's also the chicken or the egg thing. Like I don't have energy, so work out to get energy, or I need to get energy to work out. You know, that's also a very interesting way to put it. So I feel that working out gave me more energy, being more spiritual gave me more energy, and this helped me with my journey throughout.
Love that.
Yeah.
Thank you for sharing. And would you say that a good combination of family, wife, friends support might also help you like recharge your batteries, go on, I don't know, after some downfalls, it will boost you up again. Does this have a big impact in your life or not really?
Absolutely. It's funny because we're now in a phase in our other venture Boomerang we're developing a lot of new channels. Now we'll talk maybe more about it. So one of them is actually
We will.
about like the base concept of that channel is basically about the wheel of life, you know.
Okay.
So basically the wheel of life is divided into many parts. One of them is like spirituality, family, work, health, nutrition, etc., etc. And basically if you want to have a balanced life, all of those elements in the wheel of life should actually be balanced not equally, but like in tune with each other, like not doing more here and less there. So actually balancing them out properly. So if you have a healthy relationship with your partner and a healthy relationship with your kid, this would definitely impact your performance at home. If you're having, at work, if you're having a hard day at work, that would obviously maybe negatively impact you coming back home, being a little bit more stressed, taking it out on friends and family. Uh, so again, we always come back to balancing out all of that, and always come back to actually having also a close circle of trusted people that you always talk to, that you always go to whenever you need something, to take their opinion, people you really trust, and people you know whenever they're going to tell you something, it's going to be very genuine and it's going to be very constructive whenever they criticize you or give you feedback or answer any of your questions. So I've lived by that as well for a long time, where a close circle of people have really pushed me forward in everything I do, and this has helped me become a better husband, a better father, a better artist, a better manager, a better entrepreneur. So all of these really have a big part in entrepreneur life and personal life.
Awesome. Really lovely and inspiring. And I'm really grateful to have you within my
Same,
circle.
same.
So yeah, thank you for that. Let's go a bit towards the business aspect. So you've successfully marketed events and brands across different cultures and regions. What unique marketing strategies have you employed to promote your diverse projects like Boomerang and Somewhere? Do you have something specific, like a manifesto you go to?
Nice, nice. Um, I'm a semi-minimalist, if you want to call it this way. So I always like to simplify things and bring things to their core and their essence to really understand what maybe a problem is or an insight is. So I've always worked by simplifying things and really understanding what the real problem is, like I'm a very problem solving driven approach, if you want, person. So stripping down everything to its core will bring you to the truth in that. That's something I learned at during my early days at work. So stripping down, understanding the truth and the problem, and really be able to create something or to approach things in a problem solving way that would answer that truth or solve that problem. So that's, if you want, the philosophy that I live by, and always injecting, if you want, love and passion and genuine approach to things. Because in the world that we live in all the noise and all the mainstream and all the fakeness that we live in, you still have hope to actually do things the right way, do things in a more genuine way, in a more uh, heartfelt way. So those are the things
Human.
I live by. Human way, exactly. So those are the things that I live by for everything I do almost. And working on campaigns, working on activations, dealing with people, creating new ventures, dealing with my partners, etc. I always try to live by that. I'm not. There's like in French a word called, I'm not a chichi type of guy. Il n'y a pas de chichi. So meaning that there's no blah blah, there's no like fluff around it. Go straight to the point, go to the truth, go to the problem, and this is for me the only way to solve things, or to create things.
Amazing.
Yeah,
So yeah, and I believe that nowadays we don't really have these qualities anymore in any, not in any, I'm not gonna generalize, but in a big chunk of what's available out there.
true.
It's only about hype, creating needs out of nothing, turning wants into needs, and then yeah, that's consumerism at its best, and there's no real value and qualities behind it. And by the way, that's one of the main reasons why I decided to start this podcast, because I want to provide value for any person, uh, specifically solopreneurs that are starting their entrepreneurial journey right now, or even a stuck employee that doesn't know what to do next,
Yeah.
what are the next steps, what it really takes to be a businessman, a businesswoman, an entrepreneur. Uh, it's not one thing. There's no one ingredient that can really give you a full meal. So, um, yeah, I really love all the aspects and values that you go by, and I think that we should be more human at the end of the day. And a couple of days ago, I decided to just post a random stories after seeing everything happening in the world. Because I see humans, but no humanity. So we really lack a lot, and we're only living to just uh, thrive personally, and
Yeah.
we don't care about the collective.
Yeah, it's a bit unfortunate where we have reached now in terms of attention and hype and over consumerism and all of that. So I think I don't know if that would stop or slow down eventually. That would be really tough. Like it's
It's
like
a
trying,
bit challenging.
yeah, like it's David versus Goliath, or like us versus the beast, or So it's really challenging to actually fight that. But at least in your space, in your micro community, in your team, in your client circle, in your collaborator circle, in your industry, maybe try to inject some of that would actually make a small difference, or maybe like
Exactly.
a ripple effect into other industries or other people or other countries. At least do that
Exactly.
at your level, like this is because you cannot fight the huge or the big fight. Like, at least do it on your level, and then maybe things would change. You would
It
inspire.
will have a ripple effect anyway.
Exactly,
Yeah,
inspire.
you will have to start by yourself and your
Absolutely.
circle and your friends and your community, and then it will expand.
Yeah,
And talking about marketing, I truly believe that there's a big responsibility on marketeers
true.
to be really transparent in their marketing techniques and their strategies. So, talking about these techniques, I'm sure that your techniques evolved over the years, especially with the changing dynamics of digital media and audience engagement. Uh, Anything specific that you can share in regards to that? Do you have anything that you go to when it comes to marketing techniques?
I mean, I'm very attentive to whatever's happening online and in the landscape and in the industries that I'm involved in. But definitely, like, the to take as an example, maybe and Co. Our offering has changed. Not gonna say dramatically, but has really evolved dramatically from when we
Okay.
started up until today. Like, when social media was a thing, posting still images and posting activations and creating tabs on Facebook pages for competitions, that was the very, very early days. And then going into content, going into content creation, influencer marketing, that really changed the game and shifted the attention towards there. All those new platforms that are coming up. So when Facebook started, it was a thing. Then obviously before, like YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, and now TikTok. So those platforms are also dictating where the attention should go and what kind of content you should actually populate those platforms with. And then obviously you have the master of them all, which is the algorithm,
Yeah,
right?
that no one gets.
that was the beast that I was talking about. So this is also something that you unfortunately have to abide by make make it. So this also makes things a little bit more tricky. But also, as something that's interesting as well, is the story of Boomerang on that angle, because obviously when the pandemic hit, people started spending more and more time on consuming content. And obviously in Lebanon, we had our money stock and things were a bit dramatic back then. So this is where this actually sparked the idea of building a venture such as Boomerang, which is developing brands on digital platforms across many verticals like kids, business, food, fitness, etc. And feeding the beast with the content that we have, through the money stuck in the bank at in Lebanon. So also a shift of attention towards content made us also realize that, but also out of a certain situation that struck Lebanon at that time also sparked this venture and made things go forward from there up until today.
Nice. So, mentioning and Co and Boomerang, can you tell us a bit about any success story that you guys recently had? Anything that you might share in regards to marketing uh, within and Co and Boomerang or any other venture that you currently have? Like, tell us a bit about.
Definitely. So there's Endco, the creative agency. There's Boomerang, the content studio, and then there's Hot Access, which is the events and booking and artist platform. Um, in terms of success story, like with Endco, I think we would pride ourselves with the culture that we have in the company. So that is really something that I would call a success story, because 11 years from 2013 up until today, we really were able to keep at the core this company culture that is, as I was saying before, built on mutual understanding, built on respect, built on pushing things forward, built on the truth and problem solving. So that culture that we actually have, I really proud ourselves with. That's a success story for me, honestly. In terms of client and business, clients come and go, projects come and go, obviously, but I think what's at the core is the team and the essence and the philosophy of the company. Obviously, you're going to go through ups, but you learn the most at your lowest to really go up again. Something that we have recently achieved is building a partnership with TikTok. So we're TikTok creative partner, and we also work very closely with TikTok for Business and Sound On, their music distribution arm. So we do a lot of work for them. They're really an amazing team, and we're really proud of all the output that we've been putting for them as a business and for their advertising partners. In terms of Boomerang, really, as I was saying, like Lebanon went through a really tough time. We built Boomerang. We started developing all those brands from the ground up. So from the idea of the brand to the characters inside the kids' shows, to the recipes in the food channels, to all the right tips and tricks that you would give out on a business channel, etc., etc. We now have around 13, 14 channels in English and Arabic. So that's
Oh,
really an achievement that I think we have reached.
it's
Obviously,
huge.
thanks to the team, thanks to my partner Tare, and everyone who was involved in that. And then obviously the music and the events, like that would be maybe like the third layer on top of those. In music and events, things are a bit more tricky because you have a lot of trends as you go in music and in events and in entertainment in general. And people really like hypes sometimes, but really also most of them, which is the core of our audience now, are really people who appreciate stripped down music, maybe away from the mainstream, a little bit more underground, a little bit more community driven. And that's actually the path that we took. Like in my early days of DJing, obviously I was still young and I was still looking for the next shiny thing or for the hyped event to play at or for the next festival to play at.
At what age did you start DJing, by the way?
I started during my last year of school and first year of university.
Wow,
That was in 2005, 6.
that's like
Yeah.
17-ish.
Almost 18 years, 20 years. Yeah. So that's a long time. So you could imagine how the scene was back then, how simple and easy things were back then. And now with all those DJs coming out, all those collectives coming out, record labels, social media, the scene is really buzzing. So it makes things a little bit more challenging for you to maybe find your niche, because back then, at least our approach to things at the beginning was not niche. So it was really mainstream, like trance and progressive house and house were really big at that time. So now we're taking a more deep approach in music to really, that really represents me at least and the team musically, and we're actually trying to translate that into our audience. So a big success there was technically moving from also a one-man show to a 2-3 people team to a 10 people team. So that was really the challenge and the success, and also trying to put together a team with partners that maybe at times had different interests, and then now we're trying to bring that under one umbrella to represent a collective of artists, a collective of brands, and be a good umbrella and a solid umbrella and platform for the team working there to deliver the best events and experiences possible and represent the artists in the best way possible during their gigs.
Wow,
Yeah.
amazing, man. So just to understand it better, it's always about culture, people, and team, right?
That would maybe be the common denominator of those three topics or ventures, definitely.
So what advice would you give to a new manager or a new founder or anyone that is really managing other people? How to create internal cultures and how to manage people efficiently in the best way possible? Is there a secret sauce?
Yeah, if I would pick one thing, is basically keep your ego at the door.
Okay.
You know, that would maybe be something that I experienced throughout my career, where I quickly realized that you have to keep your ego at the door and really approach things in the most humble, understanding way to really get to the point and solve things the right way. Because if you put ego into the mix, a lot of things will go wrong, a lot of things would change. So that's maybe one of the things that is common across all three. Someone starting out for the first time, I mean, understanding your industry is really, really key. Networking with the right people is extremely key. Like, don't isolate yourself, be out there, talk to people, share your experience. You have a lot of people who have the same struggles as you all the time.
Yeah.
You're not alone. Like, it might sound too stereotypical, but really, like, go out there. When you start recruiting your first team members, be human, have a connection with them. You know, something that sometimes people tell me I'm doing wrong is basically treating and co and maybe like a family, you know.
Yeah.
It might be right, it might be wrong. Like, and we got a lot of slaps along the way that would remind us otherwise. But I like to build a certain connection with people that will really enable you to unlock their best potential, and for them to have a trustworthy and transparent relationship with you. Whenever something's going wrong, there's no gossip. You come and talk, and we
Yeah.
solve it on the spot. Because
And that will create also ownership.
definitely ownership that would move away from a toxic work environment, that would really elevate the team spirit and the team performance, you know, when everyone's on the same level, when there's no gossip, when everyone's like, gossip meaning like office politics, you know what I'm talking about, and really elevating it to unlocking their potential to the max. That's at least the key to all those three, and what one would be able to push for to get eventually to places. A new manager, a new employee, if you're starting at an entry level job or you are at the C level.
Yeah. That's really, by the way, like rough waters to navigate, and it's a really tough exercise that I believe every founder, entrepreneur, new manager will face, but it will really define their next steps and will even give them a huge life lesson. Because
Definitely.
as you said, egos aside, you'll have to go in, be very understanding, and put yourself in the other person's shoes, because they're in a different place in their journey. They have a different mindset. They have different things to look out to, problems. They
Maybe
have,
this is something that I realized very quickly, is like, maybe this is just a phase for them, but for me this is my life, you know.
yeah,
So aligning those views and being able to uh, 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 have a smaller gap when it comes to those two visions is maybe key to a successful team and a homogeneous team and a motivated team.
Love that. So your journey from founding and co to its recent not acquisition but being part of a bigger group and entering a new strategic partnerships. Can you walk us through the founding of &Co and its path to become part of a bigger group?
Definitely. So as I said before, like &Co started, I was on my own, servicing clients, doing all the legwork, then moving into recruiting our first team members. A couple of years before &Co was also a very interesting phase where we actually built a collective of like 10-15 people across the MENA region, and then we started servicing clients through that collective. So let's say a client would come, this client would need to deliver X campaign in X amount of time, and then we come in and go into that pool and pick like a strategist, a designer, a copywriter, a digital specialist, build the team, cater to that client, and then deliver the project. That was working amazingly well, especially when Dubai was happening back then, and all the projects were flowing properly. I quickly realized that you cannot handle such projects on a collective structure, you know. So this took us 2-3 years to realize. Then building the team from scratch, moving into a team of about 15 to 18 people, and navigating, if you want, the ups and downs of the country that we were in and the industry landscape that we were in.
So everyone was based in Lebanon back then.
Yes, back then Lebanon was happening. Everything was good. We didn't have any
life was good.
Yeah, life was good. We didn't have any worry of having to reach out to a client in the US or a client in France or a client in KSA. Projects would come, you know, they would come from those countries, but we didn't have this need to actually go and push for BD to actually get those clients. Obviously, the recession came, COVID came, and then the explosion, and this was a phase where things became really dark. So we dropped down the team count to like 3-4. We were working a maximum of 2-3 hours a day. The only two clients who were with us were one e-commerce client and one cloud kitchen. So those were the businesses that were working during the pandemic.
Yeah.
So obviously the whole bank situation, currency devaluation, this also was super tricky. A lot of people were actually leaving. There was a huge brain drain from Lebanon during that time, which really affected our culture first and really affected the way we do things, because when someone comes...
We're part of it, by the way.
Of course. Yeah. So that was a really challenging time where we had to compete with basically people leaving the country and finding jobs for triple the salary outside. So we had to compete with that, and that was really hard to navigate. We went through it in a very like zero expectation from that phase, honestly, because we didn't know what to expect. We didn't know when COVID would end. We didn't see the light at the end of the tunnel. But one thing that we did right is basically from the moment this happened, we started reaching out to similar businesses outside of Lebanon. So basically cloud kitchens outside of Lebanon, and then e-commerce platforms and stores outside of Lebanon. So that was the key thing that really kept us afloat during that time, to really navigate the turmoil of COVID and get to a point where COVID was done. We can now rebuild on a semi-solid basis, you know. So we were able to get some clients from the GCC that were cloud kitchens and an e-commerce platform from different industries, and then recruit again. And obviously recruiting again was basically recruiting people.
It was tougher.
Yeah, like some of them would come in for 3 months and then come and say, hey, I have another offer in Qatar or in Saudi. Another interesting thing is people were even staying in Lebanon and getting hired by those companies remotely. Exactly. Also for maybe not 3 times the salary, but 2 times the salary, let's say. And it was very hard for us to be able to match that. So we lost a lot of talent along the way. Some people actually went for immigration as well. So that was also super, super tricky. We tried our best to keep those assets, even if they were in different countries. We were able to do that with some, but not with others. And then fast forward to after COVID, I personally moved to Dubai as well with my wife. So that was a good move because already our client base was shifting.
Started shifting. Yeah.
Exactly, started shifting from Lebanon to the GCC. So that was a good move. And this is where we actually also founded Boomerang in the GCC in Dubai, basically in Sharjah, sorry, in Shams Media City. And from there, my relationship with Tare and Hadi started. My two partners from Endco and from Boomerang started shifting into a more qualitative and elevated relationship. So we decided that some of the functions inside the company were taking a lot of time, a lot of budget, and a lot of efforts. So which are basically all the common denominators of any company, which is the legal part, the accounting part, the HR part, etc., etc. So we decided as Endco to join the
That's
group.
That's a huge chunk of the workload
A
and
huge
all
burden.
the yeah.
Yeah, that's a huge burden because whatever you think about entrepreneurship, you would think about your service, your offering, what you deliver to the customer, and all of that. But you always tend to forget like the recruitment part, the back office, the accounting, the legal part. That's really, really huge, especially if you cross like 5, 6, 7, 10 employees. So that becomes really, really challenging to manage on your own or with a small team. So this is where we decided to actually take part in that group and really have one department that would service those companies to be more cost conscious and to deliver a better quality of work. And from that thinking, this is where actually Hot Access came in, which is basically the events. And it was actually to have a common base for everything that is events and music related. So obviously, if you are a music collective, you would need to hire a production person, a CRM person, a logistics person, a person on the ground to decorate, to take care, staff, and all of that. So obviously, those are the same for all the events collectives. So we also had the idea of bringing in 3, 4, 5 event collectives and having them all under one umbrella, where we could eventually service them
Yeah.
with common departments that would be marketing and logistics and
It
production.
was a great addition. I think so, and I believe in that direction that you guys took,
Absolutely.
and it's actually showing you that it was the right choice, I believe. And before telling us about Hot Access and Somewhere and Boomerang, you've mentioned the transition between you, a solopreneur, then becoming an entrepreneur, moving on with new ventures, new partners, new co-founders, and a board. So how was that like do you feel the shift? Is it successful because you guys are basically friends or good friends from long time ago, or is it really a successful business venture point?
I think it's even trickier if you are friends, you know?
Okay.
So I think it's even trickier if you are friends. If you're dealing with someone on a professional level, that's one layer. But if you're dealing with someone on a professional level and a personal level, that are two layers that you need to consider at every step of the way. So obviously, taking decisions on my own was a thing at the beginning. Then bringing in a new co-founder or like a new partner, I obviously have to start considering his point of view, or maybe like one step back. Like the reason why this person came in, it's actually because we saw together the value of being together. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
So
it's a mutual
mutual
value and
understanding,
mutual
mutual vision
exact
together, that we're executing together, that we're pushing for
exactly.
together. So maybe also one thing to remember is like if you have the opportunity to do things with someone, one or two or three people, the most important thing is to actually talk to each other, be transparent with each other, and really split the work. Honestly, like this is something that I learned the hard way, but like split the work. All of you doing everything is really bad. Like and all those discussions, late night discussions, time spent together, even time
Yeah.
spent at parties, time spent during partying, you get some stuff out of people that would really benefit the professional side and vice versa.
Of
So that
course.
was the part when it came from for the Antco side, like being around partners, stakeholders, investors, and board members. Obviously, like from me taking decisions on my own up to the journey of having to deal with like 5, 6, 7 different people that would also take decisions with you or influence your decision, or you would influence their decision. The dynamic is definitely shifting, and that would be with Hadi and Co, with Tariq and Boomerang, and with James, my partner in Hot Access. It's always tough, but super rewarding to navigate those ups and downs whenever you want to take decisions on a collective level.
It's really amazing what you guys are doing, and thank you, Ronald, for sharing all of these insights. I believe it's really helpful. Also, for me personally, it's really nice. Moving to the last venture, so Somewhere was born not so long time ago, and it's really making noise in the scene, in the music scene, in the event scene. And you guys recently joined the event. You became events label, and you got uh, a huge recognition in the music industry. Tell us a bit more about Somewhere, what you guys are doing, what are your next steps?
Definitely. So Somewhere is the party collective that we founded a couple of years back, but it really
It's under Hot Access, right?
it's under Hot Access, yes. But it really stems from the start of my music career in 2006, up until the time where I was a booker, actually even before, like a resident at the Basement, playing regularly on shows like Mix FM and Energy, playing regularly at BO18, uh, uh, pushing the envelope during Uber House and Garden Days with that stripped down house sound that is not so obvious for everyone, but the moment you listen to it, you can groove, you can dance. Um, Fast forward a little bit to my residency at the Grand Factory, to the Ballroom Blitz, to creating all those residencies and building those art directions for those clubs, which DJ to select, when this DJ would play, the programmation of all those different nights during the weekend or the week. So Somewhere is really the fruit of all of that. Like during all that time, we were pushing this music style, but we were doing it not silently, but we were doing it under maybe different platforms, like under different ways, through a radio show, through a club residency, through my positions as an art director or a booker in different clubs. I was also a partner at Uber House at the Garden. So all of these were done in the back scene, if you want, and the fruit of that all is actually Somewhere. So we're a collective first. Obviously, we throw parties in Beirut and in Dubai, but we also throw a lot of showcases in GCC cities like Riyadh, like Bahrain, like Qatar, but also branch out to cities like Paris, Barcelona, and Vienna. So we have the chance to meet a lot of like-minded people, a lot of interesting collectives to collaborate with, and travel to those amazing cities and discover the culture and the vibe. And then more recently, after 3-4 years of officially having Somewhere as a platform for us for our parties, we decided to branch out into a record label. So the record label is really the natural evolution of the parties, and it's really the platform that would document the sonic identity of our parties. So we have signed the first artist, which is Otis from Berlin, after receiving a lot of different demos, because we felt that he really encompassed the vibe of our dance floor and the vision of the label to where we want to become. And we also have now already like 2 to 3 EPs lined up until the end of the year that are gonna get released. And musically, Somewhere is exactly where I want to be today, as an artist and as a promoter. And our goal is to build the right environment and the right parties with proper curation, from the sound system to the circulation to the booth to the door policy, and really push that forward. And obviously be able to collaborate with like-minded collectives across the region and across the world. That's really our main goal, and push the scene forward, obviously, and the artist forward.
Awesome parties for everyone that might catch an event. Please do. You'll have a great night. I can assure you. Before we conclude, Ronald, I want to take you somewhere else. Like, we're talking about successful ventures, we're talking about new partnerships, new ventures, a lot of happenings. But what about the failures, the lessons, the past ventures that you were part of, the everything that happened and is not currently within your portfolio and focus? Where do you label that?
Those are basically the reasons why we were able to do everything we were doing now, everything we are doing now. So I see it as such. Honestly, like I had a bad experience with a 3 or 6 month job at an agency that really taught me a lot, you know? I partnered sometimes with the wrong people who had the wrong intentions and quickly realized that no, this is not something that I want to do, or this is not the approach that I want to take, or this is not the path that I'm meant to be taking. So all those failures are actually all those successes actually are the fruit of those failures.
Yeah.
And
also the bad projects,
also the bad projects, the failed events,
failed events.
the DJs who would not fit a certain vibe, and we really were very focused on getting them, the bad door policies at an event that would ruin the right quality of the crowd, the wrong recruits in a team where you maybe have to recruit someone now and you only have two profiles, and you recruit the one that's best out of those two profiles, but you're not at all sure about that person, and then it will pay, yeah, you will pay the price of that after 3 or 6 months, you know. So
the bad fitted client.
bad fitted clients, that's a really good example, you know, like you need to close your numbers for the quarter and you have to bring in that client during that time, but you know that this client's going to be toxic for your team, but you do it because you have to do it. So those are things that actually those are the things I make good use of to not repeat again, that's for sure, but to actually learn from, to develop further. It's very easy to say that, but it's very tough to actually be in a situation where you have to recruit, you have to lock a client, you have to bring in more people to an event, you have to take on that gig because of your profile, of your, it's a good exposure, etc. All those halves have been the reason of why things are failing, you know? So that's why I try as much as possible. Again, it's very easily said than done, to take a step back every time, to roll my tongue 10 times before saying something or saying yes. And I'm trying to say no more now to things that do not bring joy or excitement or results, or perceived results, at least from the beginning, that I know would eventually fail, you know?
Does maturity and not only maturity, I'm gonna say mindfulness and consciousness along with maturity affect those no's and decisions?
For sure, but you always have some external pressure from stakeholders, partner, the scene, where you stand now, how you should do things, you know, like all those I don't know how you call them, like all those rules, if you want, like hidden rules. And you know, like X promoter is doing a party during that time in this location, it's happening, people are going to come, we should do a party there. But like if you strip down all of that, yes, we should,
FOMO.
yeah, FOMO, like we should do a party there, but will the party work? Is our sound welcomed in that space during that time? Or should we really stand our ground and do whatever was working before or is working now? Like we failed so much in the first year of Somewhere when it comes to navigating the scene and understanding if we are here to do small underground events of 150, 200 people, or we should actually be scaling to 1,000 people parties. So that was really a challenging time. We tested a lot of different venues and approaches and artists and sound in Lebanon and in Dubai to really find our sweet spot today, where it's actually a proper decent party of like 600, 700 plus, with a certain music direction in certain locations. So for you to reach that sweet spot, you're definitely not going to reach that from the beginning. You're going to go through a lot of steps, a lot of drawbacks, a lot of learnings to be able to reach there. And this is exactly applicable for Endco, for Boomerang, or for anything in life. Unless you hit the
Amazing.
jackpot.
Yeah, unless you do that. But still, you will learn something out of it, and you will fail in it in a way, and you will spend them on I don't know what. That's mostly the case.
That's true.
But
Easy come, easy
if
go.
if everyone fails like you do and they learn from it like you did as well, I invite everyone to fail every day and even harder.
Very well said.
As we conclude, Ronald, I know we can talk and go on and on and on. We usually have calls like 2 hours calls. So, yeah, what one piece of advice you would give to young artists or entrepreneurs who are trying to really navigate the complexities of a career that spans both the creative and the business worlds?
Um,
And any last
yeah,
words you would like to share?
maybe the like we spoke a lot about hype and about excitement and about doing things for the wrong reasons sometimes. So maybe like don't believe the hype too much. You know, like I know maybe you've already spoken about this on your channel, but you know, like the hype that happened during Web3, the hype that happened during the social media era, the hype that happened around influencer outreach. Obviously, you need to maybe know how to navigate those hypes. You know, like giving too much and winning fast would obviously result in a drawback eventually. So learn how to understand the market, learn how to understand your audience, learn how to understand your motivations and your goal. Don't believe the hype too much. Believe it, but not too much. Try to navigate through it and stay true to yourself. That's the most important thing.
Love it. Do your own research, basically.
Yeah, financial advice.
Yeah, but yeah, something that I always repeat and I'll always say it, don't watch one YouTube video or take one online course and that's it. You think that you're ready to conquer the world and make millions of dollars. It doesn't happen like that, and money don't grow on trees, but it's a combination and a balance between a lot of aspects and work and techniques and yeah. So
Good things take time.
exactly 100%. Any last words you would like to share, Ronald? Go ahead.
I really enjoyed this hour together. Honestly, thank you so much for inviting me, and I wish you all the best for the podcast. I'm sure you have already invited a lot of interesting guests and pushing things forward. I really appreciate that. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for being here and taking the time to record this episode with me. I really appreciate you and see you soon.
See
Thanks a
you.
lot.
Bye bye. See you.